But if we were to wind back, I know that that's not always been the case.
Yeah.
So take me back.
You did your research. So I grew up extremely shy and still am today an introvert. I mean, you could probably see if you flash 5 or 6 minutes back to the beginning of this interview, like I started off nervous. I feel very comfortable now, but my default state is one of shyness, reservedness, and nervousness. And so that was just how I was for the long time. And when it came time to graduate high school, they had these superlatives that they would give out, and I had a class of about 500 people. And my superlative was most likely to break out of his shell in college. So I was well known, but I was well known for not saying a lot. So people like didn't know me and then voted for me as the person who one day would show up and reveal themselves to the world, I suppose. That didn't happen. I didn't break out of my shell in college at all. I continued to do the same. I had a small group of friends. I wasn't like dating or anything like that. And then it was only when I was about 19 years old that I studied abroad and had gotten so sick of the experience for me at that time in my life of having a massive crush for usually a year, forming an entire relationship in my head that we would one day have, and then having that not materialize because they weren't interested, or if they were interested, I could quickly talk them out of being interested just by my general awkwardness. That had happened so many times that I was done with it and frustrated. So when I went abroad, I made it a mission to figure out what was going on and shift it. And it was actually very helpful. And when people ask me, how do you begin to change these things in yourself? Shifting your environment is so impactful. Probably one of the most impactful things, because what you don't realize is that your friends and family who love you very much tend to not like shifts that you make to your habits, particularly the way that you socialize with other people. But when I gave myself the freedom of being abroad, I tried everything. You know, I worked on my eye contact, I read every book, and would just run little personal experiments, some of which didn't go well. There was one period of time, I remember, where the experiment was big eyes. And so I would like walk around, it's so nice to meet you. And you immediately recoil your head. I swear I did that probably for a week until somebody said, dude, what are you doing with your eyes? Stop.
Really?
Yeah, he was a good friend. I appreciate him for that. But it was just mini experiments, and I started them while I was studying abroad, and I continued when I came back. But by the time that I did come back, 6 months or a year later, the word in the college campus was like, what happened to you? You are a completely different person. You are outgoing, and you seem capable of talking, particularly to women at this case. And then friends were all of a sudden asking me, what should I do? And so that started sort of a second phase of my life where this was the primary focus day to day, you know, after like eating, drinking, and maybe getting some money in order to pay my bills. Other people, how to influence them, how to interact with them, how to get better friendships, how to talk my way into a job, you know, all of those sorts of things became the primary focus for me.